So what's up? What's up? What's up? That's the title of the talk today. We'll get more into that a little later. But this month, I'm just going to give a little review. We've explored and experimented with the idea of turning points that lead to different tipping points. Turning points that are founded and grounded on our basic science of mind teachings. We've taken 5 of those basic teachings and we have called them turning point views. And they are, for everyone who's heard them this month, what are they? Turning point view number 1 is God is an energy of love. There's sheets out there. God is an energy of love and creation that flows through all, surrounds all, and is all, and includes me, and includes you. That's turning point number 1. Turning point number 2, the universe has my back and is constantly conspiring for my good. I just love that visual. That's conspiring for my good. Turning point number 3, I create my world with my thoughts, beliefs, and energetic frequencies, just as Jeff said. Turning point number 4, after doing what I'm called to do, I can surrender to the universal flow of life with a capital L, because it will take over and handle the details. We don't have to sweat the small stuff, right? We can trust that it's being taken care of there. Turning point number 5, turning point view number 5, I am inherently worthy simply because of who I am. We arrived worthy. Nothing that we have to do. We are already divine. Okay, and we've looked at 3 M&Ms, which stands for, anybody remember what M&Ms stand for? Well, and that's going to help you remember this. They stand for miracle mindsets. Miracle mindsets that employ these 5 turning point views. Okay, so anybody remember what the miracle mindsets are? All right, I'm glad everyone's paying attention. Your mouth. Well, we're going to help you with this here. Number 1, the first miracle mindset is, what else is possible? Versus, this is just the way it is. What else is possible? Number 2 is, it's a piece of cake versus it's hard. We learned from Rich that hard was the worst 4-letter word, right? And number 3 is, I'm connected to everything versus I am alone. So you have a copy, or if you don't, we have copies out here of the 5 turning point views. And I'm going to have Suzanne pass out the M&Ms for y'all, the miracle mindsets. And they actually have the words taped to them. So it's just a little.
Is it like a fortune cookie? We have to eat them for it to come true?
No. Just a little thing to help you remember, especially if you know when you see M&Ms out there, you'll think, oh, miracle mindsets. Okay. So that's going to help you remember them, okay? So, and we have said that if on a consistent and ongoing basis we live from these turning point views rather than from a lot of what the world views are, and then we add our M&Ms to the mix, we're going to get trail mix. No, actually, we will most definitely tip over into what seems to be miraculous. It's going to seem to be miraculous. Also this month, we conducted the 4 experiments that Suzanne talked about. She talked about the 4th one. And the first one, I'm just going to review them a little bit, and they're out on the table too if you want to take them and practice them. These are Pam Grout's experiments. The first one was to awaken each day, and before you put your feet on the floor, you say, something amazingly awesome happens to me today. See, we've got one. All right, great. We should have just stopped there. And the second part of the experiment was that no matter what happened that day, was to say, that's amazing. Thank you, universe. That's amazing. That was kind of a trial for me on a couple of days there, but it's good practice. The second was to look for and check off 8 things. A belly laugh, a toy from your childhood. These are things that you would see during the 3 days. Your favorite high school song, the number 222, a beach ball, a senior citizen in a fashionable hat, a smile from a baby, a billboard message just for you. Okay, so we did that as well. We had some great responses on that. Experiment number 3 was to look for and record evidence that is the opposite of something you have believed about yourself. You know, something like, oh, I'm just always too tired to exercise. This was a fun one because when that thought appeared in my head, I just decided I had a lot of energy and I went for a walk and I walked 5 miles. It was good.
She walked to Kohl's.
I walked to Kohl's and spent money. Yeah.
Her wallet was so much lighter on the way home.
On the way home.
Easier.
Well, I had to carry all the baby clothes that I bought, which then produced the smile. Right. So yeah, it all works. Anyway, experiment 4 was to look for indisputable evidence of the awesome nature of the universe and the presence of divine creative love. So that was Suzanne's star that she saw, and that reminded me of I have an app, or actually a text message I get from NASA that tells me when the space station is going over. And when I go out and I see the space station, I just feel like I'm just part of something so big, you know. It's like, wow, they can look down and see us and we can see them. It's only a couple minutes each night that it goes by, but it's pretty spectacular. So did anyone do any of the divine do-overs this last week? Because we got to do that.
I was in another room of the house, and you were gone.
I was up in
And we
Napa.
have an echo and a dot. Does everybody know what the echo and the dot is?
Yes.
It's a device where you can say, Alexa, what's the weather? And she'll tell you what the weather is. Or Alexa, do this. Alexa, do that. What's the news? Play 60s music, 70s music, 80s music, high country western. It does all sorts of things. We have it so it can turn off a light. And so I'm in another room, all of a sudden, the William Tell Overture comes on, blaring from another room. I thought, what the hell? I left the door open. Did somebody walk in? What's going on? And so I rushed there, and it's Alexa, and she's playing the William Tell Overture. I said, Alexa, stop. And so she stopped playing it. And so I called Chris, and I said, Chris, you wouldn't believe what happened. And she's up in Napa, and she says, oh, I was trying to pair my
Device with my daughter's.
device with
And somehow it connected to the one in Riverbank. We're
And she
talking
says,
2 hours away.
And she said, well, I was trying to do Raffy. I was trying to do Raffy. If anybody has any younger kids in the last 20 years, they know what Raffy is.
I was trying to play
And
Rabbit.
so that turns off, and we have a dot upstairs. And so I'm sitting there looking at the paper, and all of a sudden, baby beluga, baby blue sea. I go upstairs, the dot is playing Baby Beluga, a Raffy song. So
Okay, so for those of you who did the exercises, we have a drawing. So I'm going to have you.
is that-
Everybody gets to
Everybody
participate.
Okay, what do
I don't know what you have to do.
I'll figure it out.
No, here, just give them a ticket and give me the other ticket. So, all right.
This obviously is gonna be a joint effort.
Joy can help you with it. Okay, because I'll go on while she does that, okay? So she's going to pass those out, and then we have a drawing for really cool Pam Grout Oracle cards that are really kind of fun. We had a lot of fun. Joy's got this. Yeah. She worked for Carnival in a past life.
She used to work as a
I love games.
She was a fortune teller with the crystal ball.
Okay, which side do you get? Does it matter?
No, this is.
Doesn't.
Yeah, it does, because
Keep this.
because
Okay.
Okay, I'll take him. I don't want to, you take that, take one there.
okay.
Chris, apparently this is gonna, we probably should have done this before. But all in good
Okay.
time with the wrong.
We got it. I'll just keep going while she does that. Okay, so as we wrap up the month of January, we want to ask what's up with you. What do you want to explore further in all we've discussed this month? What science of mind questions do you have? What concepts do you want to more fully understand? What guidance and support would you like in creating your personal turning point? This is your time, and what we're going to do is Rod, who is a licensed practitioner as well, has graciously offered to come up and sit with me and take some questions. So if you have questions that you'd like to ask, anything to do with this teaching, how to apply it in your life, you're more than welcome to do that. And so we actually have little stools up here. Joy, is that yours right there?
I didn't either.
Oh, that's what the bar stools are for.
Start serving drinks now.
So come on up, Ron. This is the 5th Sunday of the month, so we usually do things a little bit differently. It's not just listening to me talk, which is really refreshing. Huh? Nope, I'm just going to bring the recorder over here.
Everybody got one?
Questions or comments?
Okay, let's do the drawing real quick.
Hold on, Chris. No, we're not gonna do the drawing.
Oh, we're not going to do the drawing just yet. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that after we do the question answers. Okay, so we are all yours. What questions do you have?
The collective consciousness,
Okay.
you know, I'm aware of what the principle of that is. And I really have felt a lot of ups and downs that I really don't, I don't feel like I have any control over. Like, the phrase that came to my mind as I heard, we're gonna build this massive wall and we're going to pay for it, was when Ronald Reagan said to Gorbachev, you know, tear down that wall. So I'm really sort of confused right now by what I call a roller coaster feeling in the collective consciousness.
Well, actually,
Okay, so
Now let the metaphysics,
Well,
let the metaphysics, mother, it's not, let the metaphysics discuss.
go ahead, Bud.
Okay, Mr. Holman, it begins with me, with you. So your focus is on consciousness, directing consciousness, because we are part of the collective, but we bring our gift to the collective. So it's a matter of working consciously to get clarity on what it is you want to happen. Does that make any sense?
Yes, what I'd like to add is that what we see out there is a result, is a reflection of what we have thought and believed yesterday, the day before, and it is a collective. But we have, our power is within. And so if we want to see a different tomorrow, we have to get clear on what it is we believe and what it is we want to see. And that's why we say in this teaching that our vision is creating a world that works for everyone. But what does that mean to you? And it's each and every one of us has to decide what that means to us. So, JC.
And along that lines, I was having kind of a similar discussion with my friend who's very, very spiritual. I mean, she's just there. And she brought up the word trust. She says, this is the time that you trust. She said exactly what you're saying. She says, you just work on your inner and you trust.
Yes.
That you have to, that you trust that the world, all the world, is going to be in a growth process just as we are. And we have to trust.
And this
That
is
the highest good is always being served.
that the highest good is always being served. Pam Gratz's exercise, where she's, is saying that day something amazing and awesome is happening, and then bless everything that's happening that is awesome because it is unfolding to our highest and best good, whatever it is, even if it doesn't appear to be. If we know that it is, there are a lot of gifts. I can tell you that I have friends who never paid attention to what was going on in the world, who are suddenly very much wanting to contribute and volunteer and be active and, help out in many positive and wonderful ways. Before, she didn't even know who the vice president was, and just wasn't involved. And so it's becoming aware that we're a collective and that there's more ways to give and more ways to share. And there's a lot of gifts that I see. Questions, more questions. With this teaching, anything?
I have a comment. I was recently listening to the Abraham Collective of Abraham Hicks, if anybody knows who that is. And the question posed was, well, should I just ignore reality? And she had said yes. If it's not in alignment with what feels good to you, ignore it and refocus your attention on what feels good.
Okay.
Imagine if everybody did that.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
ignore reality.
Well,
I just do it every day.
I think there's reality and there's truth. I think
So what is that? She was
Well,
referring to?
yeah, I think that you can be suffering perhaps from a cold or an illness or something, and that's very real for you, and I would never deny your experience of that. But I know that the truth of you is that you are perfect health. I know that if I see someone perhaps who is a criminal and does something against somebody else, I know that is a reality, and there's damage done, that there's law of cause and effect will be working in that. But I can also see that person is the truth about them. They are a divine expression of the one. And so if we hold that knowledge in us, I think it raises the whole consciousness up. And so our job is to be the light bearers, I believe. I believe that it's to hold the light. It's so easy to get caught up in what everybody is talking about. And one of my favorite quotes is Emma Curtis Hopkins, and she says, she was a New Thought pioneer back in the 1800s, and she said, "This too is good. This too is God. This too is for me, and I demand to see the blessing. I demand to see the blessing." And you know what? Sometimes when you get a little bit angry, Spirit responds a little faster. So,
And Emerson says, "There's nothing good nor bad to the soul that maketh all."
yeah.
You know? So we just have to know that right action is happening.
Always.
Always,
Even if it
always.
doesn't appear to.
Even though
it's-
it doesn't appear to us, or it might not be.
or
what
to somebody
we-
else,
Yeah.
right?
What we want the experience to be for ourselves, but there are billions of people in this country who are happy.
This is
Yes.
true. And I think, too, that change comes about when we're uncomfortable. I don't think we tend to, when we're comfortable, I don't think we even change the channel on the TV, you know?
Yeah.
In our study of Emerson, he talks about self-reliance, and so he actually would say reality is your perception. This is kind of where he comes from, and that you always need to stay within yourself. And so the reality for you, make sure it's for yourself.
Right. Right. And I think that for me, I like Marianne Williamson, where she says, "I choose to come from love and not from fear." If we can always come from love in every situation, then I think we've got a good.
Because they're coming from God.
Yeah.
What would love do?
What would love do?
What has love got to do with it? Oh, that's a song.
That's a good segue. Okay, well, we're going to wrap this up. Any more heartburning
Well, I have
question? What?
One more comment. When I feel stuck, in a negative situation, and I know that everything is happening for me, not to me, my favorite question to ask is, well, what's great about this that I'm not getting?
Ah,
And then
And
the
be
answer
open to it.
actually comes.
be open to
And
it.
I'll go, oh, wow, I
Yeah.
never would have thought of that. Really surprising answers come from that question when I'm stuck in another situation and it doesn't make sense. And I go, okay, God, what's great about this?
Yeah.
It's a
That
powerful
I'm not
question.
getting. Yeah.
That I'm not getting. It's very powerful.
The challenge too, I assume, well, assumption is the mother of all, that you do treat, in the teaching, you do your treatments, spiritual mind treatments. Yeah, and the challenge is you declare what you want into the law, right? Reverend Helen Street, who was one of the great,
Yes.
beautiful teachers,
And very funny, too.
and very funny. She always referred to it as a God blessed treatment, because it's powerful. So you need to really, you're declaring into the law what you want, so you want to make sure you get the law's attention.
Yeah.
So, you're right?
Absolutely.
So I was looking, what's the thing, I am, what do you call that at the beginning we did? I
Oh,
am.
our affirmations?
Your
Morning
affirmations.
Yeah,
Okay. Those are declarations.
Yes.
yes.
So do you believe all of it? Or you think,
Yes.
well, maybe I feel that way, maybe I don't. Well, that negates the treatment. doesn't
Or
it?
if you say the word but.
But,
I believe
or
that.
I hope
but.
it works. But the law always works, of course.
As Suzanne read this morning.
That explains
Law
everything.
always
See, I
works.
told you. Kathy.
It's important to remember that church and state should be separate.
Yes.
That everyone is welcome at church.
Everyone is
Everyone
welcome,
is welcome.
regardless, yes.
And that, as a retired teacher, it was really important to me that everyone, every student is important and is welcome in the classroom. And if we can remember to separate those two things, legally, emotionally, spiritually, however you want to do it, it's going to be everybody's welcome in church.
Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. JC?
Along the lines that you were talking about, I get confused when you would seek a practitioner. Because truly, if we're working on something, and the other thing is that it's come to me that you don't have to keep working on it. You do it and you let it go.
Mhm.
So then I get confused to when I should seek a practitioner. And I guess, could you just sum up when somebody would seek a practitioner? Because Ernest Holmes trains people to be practitioners.
Right.
And so basically, we all are practitioners.
True.
And so, but in one spot, he talks about that a practitioner is probably maybe not as confused of what you might be in your own mind, so maybe you would seek a practitioner. I mean, you know how we argue with ourselves. Anyway, I'm confused about when I would seek a practitioner.
Well, the practitioner's job is to get clarity. He treats in his own mind, but he has got clarity in his own mind what he is claiming into the law, right? And Ernest Holmes, and I don't know if we all agree with that, but Ernest Holmes said that you treat until you get results.
Right. Well, there have been a couple of different things that where he
right.
wrote. He said, treat once, and if your treatment is
Yeah.
you're done. But I think you know when your treatment is done. However, I think when you're too close to an issue, sometimes it's really hard to get out of the emotional part, the feeling part of that keeps negating the yeah buts that come in our minds. And I think when you are in that space and you just can't get to where you can work in your mind to get clear and make that powerful treatment, that's when you call a professional. That's when you call someone and say, hey, you call me, you call Rod, you call someone, you call there's a practitioner line you can call. Say, I need treatment for this. I can't seem to get clear on this. I need someone to know the truth for me. And once you do that, that's our job, is that we know in our own minds, because we only treat our own mind. We don't treat anything outside of our own. But because we're all one, what's true for me is true for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, well, we're going to get on with our drawing now. Thank you, Rod.
That's it?
That's it. Then we didn't have time for a whole lot, but we wanted to.
Really mixed up.
They are really mixed up. Let's have Rod draw.
Did you get your ticket, Chris?
I don't need a ticket. I'm good.
Okay. Want me to draw?
Yeah, I do.
Amazing to see it.
Oh, you got your everybody got your ticket? Okay.
Everybody? Let's see, what was my number?
Oh, you're good.
Okay. Who believes that they're going to win? Right. Okay, let's find out.
Let's find out. We have. Oh, that's interesting.
What's that?
9824398. Is that right?
One number off.
8? Did you get 8?
Me too.
Did I read that right?
Somebody back there.
And mine was not.
Okay. There you go. All right. Okay, so I want to end.
Look at him.
I want to end our topic of turning points this morning with a poem. Many of you are familiar with the poem Footprints in the Sand, right? Have you all heard that one? It's a beautiful poem about God being there for us when we are weak and most alone. It's moving and touching, and it is not the poem that I want to leave you with. Rather, this is a poem about making a decision to live from our turning point ideas and truly creating a tipping point for the good in your life and the lives of others. The poem goes like this. One night I had a wondrous dream. One set of footprints there were seen. The footprints of my precious Lord, and mine were not along the shore. But then some stranger prints appeared, and when I asked the Lord, what have we here? Those prints are large and round and neat, but Lord, they are too big for feet. My child, God said in somber tones, for miles I carried you alone. I challenged you to walk in faith, but you refused and made me wait. You disobeyed, you would not grow. The walk of faith you would not know. So I got tired, I got fed up, and there I dropped you on your butt. So I could stew and get upset, but the victim and moan, but yet, once I see that I'm okay, this is just another day in which I can take full control and realize that I'm already whole. The love is all around me now. That principle takes over somehow. To know that love is all there is and accept for me the best that is. I claim my right to glorious health and open my arms to limitless wealth. I thank my God for all it's done to help me see that we are one. This last thought I'll let you hear if you're still sitting on your rear. There comes a time when one must rise and take a stand or leave their butt prints in the stand. So today, let's rise and take a stand to be the tipping point for God's good in this world. And so it is.